Hey everybody, it's Mattie here with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're doing very well today. And for a look at the news, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. We're talking about what's happening with Tether today. We have a feature piece by James looking at Africa again and the impact of cryptocurrency. What the singer and entertainer Akon is looking to do there. We have an update with one of our friends in the altcoin space that we're going to examine. But first, let's begin here on altcoinbuzz.io, as always, with this article by Licia. Europol is concerned about cryptocurrency. So what are we talking about? A 3-day security conference organized by Europol, which is a European version of the international agency Interpol, is set to find out how to tackle, quote, the abuse of virtual currencies for illegal activities, reports the Financial Times. Close to 16 cryptocurrency exchanges are expected to participate in the event, which started yesterday. So you have a Europol spokesperson told the Financial Times that the agency is looking into how to, quote, enhance the capabilities of law enforcement. The conference comes months after Rob Wainwright, the company's director at the time, warned that around 3 to 4% of £100 billion is in illicit proceeds in Europe were laundered through cryptocurrencies, and expressed worry that this proportion was growing, quote, quite quickly. So that's courtesy of the Financial Times. Now, you know, this obviously relates to some other stories as well. We've been covering some of the heists, unfortunately, or the hacks, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, that's all illegal activity, of course, as well. Just because it's cyber doesn't mean it's not a theft and it's against the law. So BitThumb was the most recent example of that. You had CoinRail recently, and you have this kind of almost desensitized approach to it, this blasé attitude that's formed, and that's been evidenced by guys like Charlie Lee on Twitter, right? Remember that quote? Another day, another hack, right? So, quote, Europol said on Tuesday that the conference would focus on the tracing and attribution of digital coins, as well as ways to counteract services that make it easier to disguise where cryptocurrency might have come from. So this could have applications in terms of helping to solve some of these more high-profile infamous hacks. It also adds that some people believe that agencies like Europol need to devise, quote, a centralized system that flags cryptocurrency wallets linked to nefarious activities to major exchanges so that they can block the owners from exchanging those funds or hard cash. So let's kind of see what happens here. I mean, it would be nice to have some oversight, and if anybody can help out in some of the illicit activities that are going on, and you know that extends as well to some of the hacks in the world of crypto, that would be a good thing. But don't forget, guys, that some of these claims have been overblown, and there's a previous study that we're going to link to that suggests that only 1% of Bitcoin transactions are illicit. What do you guys think about Europol's involvement in this space? Are there any downsides that you may want to, you know, express some reluctance over, or is it all good? Let us know in the comments below. You can take a look here at Europol's website. You can take a look at the Financial Times, although you have to subscribe to read this particular article. Europol meets cryptocurrency exchanges to thwart criminals. And here's a look at that particular study that was quoted in the article. So this goes back to February 12th of this year. But only less than 1% of Bitcoin transactions are illicit. And that's according to this research that's exposed here by Sebastian. I shouldn't say exposed. That's examined here by Sebastian. So do be sure to leave a comment for this article by Licia, who is European. And if you're European, if you have a particular say in this or a strong opinion one way or the other, do let us know your thoughts and your comments. In this article by Christopher, switching gears now, Tether Transparency Update, FSS report. So a new Tether report shows it's fully backed by the US dollar, and I think this is good news. Tether has retained the law firm of Free, Sporkin & Sullivan, LLP to provide legal advice and counsel regarding a review of bank account documentation. FSS is a Washington-based law firm which provides legal, investigative, and monitoring services to organizations around the globe. So there's been all this talk and quite a bit of finger-pointing in this space, right? And the accusations are that Tether does not hold a one-to-one ratio with US dollars versus what it purports to be its overall value in terms of its market cap, right? So accused of not having sufficient fiat reserves to back the USDT token. And we can read about that in other articles. We've discussed that here on the channel, of course. So in a bid for better transparency, and you got to give Tether kudos, right? They've gone ahead and they've opened their doors. They've recruited the help of this law firm. They've issued this transparency report, which is a good thing. And in that transparency report released on the 20th of June, it says, quote, pursuant to the above terms of engagement and the discretion provided by Tether, FSS selected the date of June 1st, 2018 and received the following balance information from Tether's two banks as of the close of the banking day. FSS received the following confirmations from the respective banks by sworn and notarized statements provided by duly authorized personnel. So in the first bank, you have 1.968 billion unencumbered US dollars. In the second, 576 million, and that makes for a total of about 2.5 billion US dollars. So FSS is confident, and this is the conclusion of this particular report and those particular figures, FSS is confident that Tether's unencumbered assets exceed the balance of fully backed USD Tethers in circulation as of June 1st, 2018. Now, when it comes to Tether, of course, there's been FUD in the news. People just seem to be waiting for an excuse. It's almost as if it's as if you have some people betting against Tether or betting against the market, and they're just waiting to see them slip up, or they're waiting to find a mistake in their accounting numbers. And you see examples of that with CNBC, Nicholas Weaver. You see examples of that elsewhere. David Gerard, who says, quote, everyone in crypto is very worried about the situation with Tether and if these really count as dollars. So as of right now, I think this is something that we can take as reassurance. You have all kinds of naysayers that talk about doom and gloom, and if things were to go down, it could really have a negative impact on things, as much as 80% according to some. So for the time being, I think this speaks to transparency. I think it's a positive sign, and good on Tether for making this happen. You can read about a related article by Christopher back on May 20th. Tether mints $250 million USD in USDT token. And here's that particular piece by David Gerard. You can take a look at this if you feel like reading some FUD. How to read a crypto market depth chart and why people went holy crap at the overnight Tether chart. And in other news, by the individual that's quickly turning into our African correspondent, James Scarrett, Akon, the savior of Africa. Good play on words there. So, of course, you have Mr. Lonely. Akon himself, the musician and entertainer, singer, has taken a step back from his usual gig of singer-songwriter to create a new cryptocurrency for the people of Africa. I think it's important. We've been spotlighting all kinds of stories on altcoinbuzz.io about the impact of crypto in Africa, whether it's Kenya, whether it's Uganda, whether it's Ethiopia. And you have these individual anecdotal stories that we've tried to share. But this is a big one because Akon is originally from the Republic of Senegal, and he's previously been in some major, and I mean major, multi-million-dollar charitable acts and programs as far as solar electricity, as far as development for not only his home country but his home continent. And this is just as ambitious as anything else he's ever done. So he's basically come out and spoke about his plans to use his cryptocurrency, aptly named Akon, as part of a 2,000-acre development site called Akon Crypto City this year at the Cannes International Festival of Creativity. So he has this statement. He said, quote, I think that blockchain and crypto could be the savior for Africa in many ways because it brings the power back to the people and brings the security back into the currency system and also allows the people to utilize it in ways where they can advance themselves and not allow government to do those things that are keeping them down. I absolutely agree, and we've highlighted a lot of different instances of this already. This could be the next iteration. This could be a very good thing. So since 2014, Akon's been very active. He's worked alongside many humanitarian organizations to bring stability to the continent's countries. One such organization was helped set up by Akon was Lightning Africa. So this was a particular project involved in harnessing the power of solar systems to the citizens who would otherwise go without electricity. So this is a 2,000-acre project or proposal at this point. And as James points out, yes, at this point he's built a reputation for himself. I don't see this as hot air. I see this as something that he's going to follow through with because he's proven himself in his previous charitable track record. It's not a direct donation, which I think is even better. How many charities have been in this African space for the last 10 years, for the last several decades, for the last couple of generations? What has really happened? Akon's that kind of individual, that proverbial individual that wants to give people the fishing rod as opposed to the fish itself. And if this takes off, we have those anecdotal instances, those stories like Mr. Bagarogo out of Uganda, who's really been able to turn his life around. That was also something that was highlighted by James in another piece. This could be something quite similar. Crypto has a big impact on these countries that are suffering economically, or perhaps employment is an issue or inflation is an issue. I think this is where crypto stands to make its greatest and most humanitarian mark. So a little bit of a funny comment here, but Akon is talking about how, look, he's not really a tech guy and he doesn't necessarily care about the details. He says, I come up with the concepts and let the geeks figure it out. I don't take that the wrong way. I think that's just that's a question of delegating. That's what leaders do. And if he wants to establish this and he wants to really make sure that this project thrives, then why not? If that's how it's going to happen, that's his style, then good on him. And we hope to see this succeed. This is one of those feel-good stories. You can read more about Akon and Akon here on the Altcoin.io website. And finally today, in other news, guys, just a quick update about our friends over at Social Send. They have a lot going on. This is their Twitter account. And the most recent news that we have to share, well, I shouldn't say the most recent news, but important news recently is their partnership that they've announced with Linda. So that's been a pretty big deal. Linda will be the first coin listed on the Social Send platform. You guys can read more about Social Send here on their Twitter page and their website. This is all about sharing of funds and assets via cryptocurrency, via social media channels. So it's quite a revolutionary idea. So do be sure to check out their Twitter account here. But most recently, we're talking about what's happened with their updated roadmap. So their updated roadmap is here for you to check out. Download it in PDF. This is more than just a JPEG, guys. This is a very detailed, very meticulously written document. You can read all about their progress here, where we are in Q3 of 2018 and beyond. So what's happening in Q4? Exchange integration, send debit card release mobile app for the platform, development of crypto learning platform for beginners, working on public welfare and donations, listing on bigger exchanges. And they go on all the way to Q1 of 2019. So there's more to that, there's more to this than we're able to cover at the moment, but I encourage you guys to check out this particular roadmap, talking about all their updates that are forthcoming, including a major overhaul and update to their white paper. They're going to be able to provide more detail in their white paper and update it as to be more reflective of their current updates and their new trajectories. So do be sure to check them out, guys. Check out their website here, socialsend.io. And if you want to get involved in the community, this is really one of the best communities I've been involved with on Discord. That's for sure. So check out the white paper, check out what they're up to. Links will be in the description. And other than that, guys, make sure you're following Altcoin Buzz News on Twitter, because you're going to be alerted to the greatest stuff that way, the latest information. And hey, we have a new podcast out. We talked about the whale insertion of 1200 BTC, the recent market movement, the fact that that was almost nullified or neutralized by the recent hacks. We talked about the CIA and what they've been discussing as far as the true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. And also this John McAfee business about his claim that his presidential run is going to be really the main factor as to whether or not we get to that $1 million or even $500,000 BTC price point. So he seems to be now linking that to his presidential success. We'll see about that. I think we're all a little bit skeptical. But join us for the conversation there. You can check us out on iTunes, on YouTube, other platforms as well. We're going to link to those in the description. As always, guys, if you liked the video, leave it a thumbs up. Leave us your comments below. Make sure you subscribe because we put out new content every day. We'll see you again soon in the next video. Take care.